Let's dive right into it. And the first thing we're going to talk about here today comes to us from Patreon supporter Ian A. Barth. And thank you for being a Patreon supporter, Ian. And Ian writes, "Hey, John and friends. So, we're giving Halle Bailey," I keep wanting to say Barry. I mean, she should kind of at this point be legally required to change her name, I think. Anyway, so we're giving Halle Bailey the benefit of the doubt for Ariel, despite her short resume. But now I'm hearing talks of Disney casting Harry Styles as Prince Eric. And other than a minor role in Dunkirk, he hasn't been in a single movie, and I find it hard to give him the benefit of the doubt, given that he hasn't proven any acting talent yet. What is your take on this? Are my worries completely unwarranted? All right, so for those of you who aren't sure about the news, of course you guys remember all the big hubbub that went on because Halle Bailey was cast as Ariel. I have no problem with her casting as far, oh, she's not a redheaded white girl. That's fine. But I'm actually not really big on her casting, only because she's got a very short resume, and admittedly, I haven't seen everything on her resume, so I'm not really comfortable with it yet. But hey, and she may totally change my mind once we see her, so that's fine. But right now, I'm not super happy with the casting. Harry Styles, again, limited casting, limited work on his resume. I will say this, though. It wasn't the major role in Dunkirk. I did like him in Dunkirk. I'll give him that. Now, granted, he was in the hands of one of the world's greatest directors with Christopher Nolan, but I thought he was pretty good. Also, one of the big requirements going into this is singing. I mean, I get that. And that's one of the little asterisks I put beside me saying I'm not thrilled with her casting, with Halle's casting, because she is a great singer. So give her that. And, you know, Harry Styles, clearly a great singer, so they're going to be putting that into it as well. So, I don't know. No, I don't think there's anything wrong with you being a bit apprehensive about his casting. You're right. It's a limited resume. Now, that doesn't mean we're 100% against his casting. It's just saying, hey, I don't feel really stoked about it because he has such a limited resume. This is a big lead role in a major tentpole film. But on the other hand, he's got singing talent. She's got singing talent. She's got more of a resume than he does. So I'll put it this way. I'm going to be agnostic right now on the casting of Harry Styles. Great singer. That's a pro. I liked him in Dunkirk. That's a pro. But it was very limited in Dunkirk, and I haven't seen him in anything else. So I'm going to say right now, Rob, that I am agnostic on the casting of Harry Styles. What do you think about his casting? And does this casting of him on top of the casting of Halle, Rob, tell us or give us any sort of insight as to what kind of direction this movie's going in as a whole?
Well, you know, first of all, with Halle Bailey, one of the things, I love her face.
Yes.
Like, I mean, her face she looks sort of timeless and otherworldly, and if mermaids exist, humanoid mermaids exist,
I could see them looking like her.
Yeah, I would. I think that's why I think she looks great. And obviously, like you said, it's all about singing. You know, and I think that singers, especially people that get up on stage like Harry Styles certainly has a certain theatricality to them. They know how to play the audience. So even though they haven't necessarily been in movies, everyone was surprised. Oh my God, Lady Gaga's performance in A Star Is Born was so great. But they have to connect with an audience the way a theater actor does.
Right.
Because you have to be able to project, when you're a musician on a stage, you're projecting that character, that swagger, or whatever it is you do, whatever you're performing to your audience. And I think that there is a certain advantage people have that are musicians that can transition over to acting because they do have that ability. And I think that obviously Harry Styles, they didn't do this in a vacuum. He must have done some kind of, whether it was a screen test, they didn't just say, hey, let's pick him. You know, Disney wouldn't do that. And so I think that somebody has seen something that we might not have seen yet. And I think part of the attraction of doing these live action, at least films, I didn't know much about, for instance, Lily James when she was Cinderella. And as you and I both have a great affection for not only her, but and that movie.
Absolutely.
And I think that we're going to get that with The Little Mermaid. I'm pretty excited about it because, I mean, think about it. You've got to have the Under the Sea number is one of my favorite Disney songs. Yeah, and that was sung by a crab. You know, so I don't know how they're going to make it all work, but as far as live action films go, this has a real fantasy bent to it because there's lots of creatures, like with Beauty and the Beast. You've got the human creatures, but then You've got talking teacups, and in this case, singing and talking Jamaican crabs, which I'm all about. So I think that this mix that they're putting together of elements is interesting to me. And I think it might be special. I think it's something we are going to get that we're going to be like, I mean, I never thought I'd be sort of curious or even very interested to see a live-action Little Mermaid remake, but there we are.
Well, the question here, guys, is what do you think about the casting of Harry Styles in The Little Mermaid? Excited? Does it turn you off from the movie? Does it do nothing for you right now? Are you kind of like me where you're in the middle of the road and you're just kind of wait and see? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right.